And the Food and Drugs Authority, on an inspection tour of the river, reports that communities around the reserve have been cautioned against buying smoked fish from fishermen in the area.
Management of the Bele Park in the Sisala West District of the Upper West region says this river, which runs through 4 districts in the region, has been poisoned by some fishermen. These fishermen have picked up camps and they harvested the fish and took some away. The management says the situation is a serious source of worry to them, and they cautioned the fishers that the law will catch up with them.
It's around the ground belt where the water have been fragmented into pools due to the seabed, the riverbed is upside. So that was where some communities members came in to do some poisoning using some agrochemicals, bladder care, and we tried to apprehend them. Unfortunately, they escaped because they were at the opposite side of the riverbank, and our men retrieved some of the cash they have abandoned, and then a motorcycle from this crime scene.
The regional director of the Fisheries Commission is equally worried about the situation.
We think it's devastating because we have other lower organisms like the mussel that are filter feeders. We have other fingerlings that have been spawned and then they are trying to survive. And already they have challenges of water current and other things. There are other organisms that also feed on them to reduce their population. So this is reducing the productivity of fisheries in the reservoir and other aquatic organisms. This is a reserve, and normally for such a place, we can get other fish species that we do not have in our reservoirs from them.
Management of the park says last month a culprit was caught with the same offense, and when he was taken to court, he was fined just 2,500 Ghana cedis. And for management, they think it is an incentive for the fishermen to continue to perpetrate this act. The management is appealing to the communities around to be on the lookout for anyone who will come to them with smoked fish for sale. Reporting for GBC News, Swala Abdul Wahab, Bele Park.
Broken traffic lights contribute largely to road accidents and pedestrian lockdowns in the capital. The problem of faulty traffic lights in Accra is alarming. Lights at major intersections are either down or malfunctioning. On GTV Breakfast Show, panelists discussed the need for duty bearers to treat this problem as a matter of urgency.
I think it is unacceptable for us to continue to have traffic lights not working for 2 weeks because of the dangers ahead. But I also think that chief executives would have to be up and doing. They have to sit up. You don't need the president to come and fix this light. The whole structure about urban road management is such that in certain cases it has been decentralized. There is some element of decentralization, but local governance means you, the chief executive, who is the district president, must take charge. If these things are not working, work with the appropriate institutions. Things are working. So here, I'll charge the minister responsible for local government and the chief executives to make sure that these things happen. If the chief executive of that area, the chief executive of the Adenta Municipal Assembly, the chief executive of AME, all of them sits up and say that, look, urban roads, those responsible for this traffic light, it would have to work. It will work.
These are real-time issues we have to solve. We should even take a day to solve, okay? But is it, like Doc mentioned, it's just about responsibility. Ensuring that whatever is under our care, you ensure that it's executed very well. Traffic light,
it's so
today,
basic, man. It's so basic.
Should we be discussing traffic light when we have people who are responsible to ensure that it works 24/7? No. And Kafi, that is Malam Junction. Look,
I'm sure you can cite other hotspots.
I can
the UPSA junction. UPSA junction. When I was coming, it was not working.
Over the weekend, intermittently. Now, intermittently, it's you always will encounter a dysfunctioning traffic light. Even UPSA junction, and that is an area you have. It's an educational hub of Accra.
There's a lot of movement there.
A lot of movement there, and every now and then cars are breaking down there. Cars, there's collision all over. Kavi, it's just about responsibility, ensuring that whatever has been put in under our care, you ensure it is done.
We're still on the matter. Now, months ago, GBC News carried a report about the malfunctioning of many street lights in Accra. The result is that the street lights are pitch black at night, even on some major streets. Street lights are psychological deterrent to criminal activity and promote security. They make the public feel safe, especially at night, while giving the streets the needed illumination for good visibility. Many residents of the capital are concerned that the darkness has swallowed up security. They suggest that with the abundance of sunlight, solar-powered lights may be the way to go.
Lights promote security and improve safety for drivers, riders and pedestrians. Many lamps in use today have light-sensitive photocells that activate the lamp automatically when needed and when the clouds gather before the rains. In many parts of Accra, majority of the street lights are not functioning properly, and this is a danger to many road users. This is the Ring Road Central at 7 p.m. and the streets are dark because the street lights are not working. Drivers on this road often use their high beams to safely navigate through the dark. It is very difficult to spot any object ahead. Pedestrians are also at risk because they could easily be knocked down by a vehicle or even attacked by criminals who take advantage of the situation. A number of hit-and-run accidents have been recorded on the stretch. A drive through North Ridge and areas around Accra Girls Senior High School are similarly without lights. The pitch dark streets tell it all. Heading towards Ridge Hospital is also very dark, and with no pathways or sidewalks, many feel unsafe. The only properly illuminated building is the hospital and some other functional story buildings that provide some amount of lighting. Some ceremonial roads in the capital suffer similar fate, and it's a worrying situation to those who use the streets. A drive through the main street, the Professor John Evans at Mills High Street, Antema Station area, shows a mixed situation with and without lights. Accra by night, and this is the road when there is no vehicle on the street. Pitch dark. It is easy to assume there is a power cut, but the lights are simply not working. At least, the headlights on our car provided some illumination when it was turned on, but that is not enough to protect the road user. A driver, Mr. Joshua Essien, was not happy about the situation because electricity consumers are charged a street light maintenance fee for every single purchase.
You purchase electricity credit, they deduct street lights, a whole lot, and at the end of the day, you go around, and even in the station here, there's no lights around.
While some Ghanaians are calling for proper maintenance of these valuable national assets, others are also proposing the use of solar to power these street lights. A businessman, Mr. Paul Hosu, shared a few thoughts.
Sometimes in the night when you are crossing the road, you can see the light of the car, which is not far or which is close. Meanwhile, it's not what? Close. Sometimes some drivers go with high light, so sometimes you don't know when or how or the distance between you and the car coming.
The only source of lighting on the graphic road through to the Obechebi-Lamte circle are lights from oncoming vehicles. Mr. Gabriel Kutogiba explained that the lights have never been replaced since they stopped working some months ago.
The whole place is very dark. I don't know what to say, but it's very shameful. Look, we have street light. Is it solar or what? Pay money to do all these things. but they are not functioning.
The poor lighting at night is a troubling situation for many. They question how long the streets of Accra will continue to be without any lights. Residents hope the streets of Accra will be properly lit at night to keep all safe and meet the standard of many developed countries. Dorothy Ajiman, GBC News, Accra.
We now go to the northern region where the 7 suspects arrested for allegedly stealing cattle from the Zakoli community in Yendi in the northern region following the killing of some persons in that community last week have been found guilty of the offense and fined 4,200 cedis each. On day 1 of the court sitting on the case, all 7 suspects pleaded guilty to the charge of conspiracy to steal and stealing. They were therefore convicted on their own plea, despite pleading with the court for forgiveness that they will never repeat such an act. The court fined each of the accused persons 4,200 cedis, that is 1,200 cedis for the crime, and 3,000 cedis as compensation to the affected persons, or in default to serve a prison term of 9 months. Now, on GTV Breakfast Show on Tuesday, an executive director of the Center for Financial Literacy Education, Africa, Mr. Peter Asari, educated the public on why savings is very critical and must be taken seriously. He said once a person is earning, it is important that individual work towards his or her retirement, protect oneself from debts and bankruptcy, and how best to manage one's finances when issues arise.
Financial literacy has to do with a set of knowledge, skill set, attitude and behavior on how best one can manage his financial resources. You have to be intentional about it. You have to apply it in your everyday life decisions. So someone can be a lawyer, someone can be a doctor, but does not have the essential principles to managing his personal finance. So it entails an individual being intentional about it and taking the right decisions when it comes to his or her money. When you talk about the principles, you can talk about paperwork. You have to organize your paperwork. From the very day you were born.
Which paperwork are you talking about?
From the very day you were born, you were given a birth certificate. Since that day, your paperwork has been increasing. You engage in a financial transaction. Open an investment account, you are given an investment certificate. You buy a land, you are given a contract. You rent an apartment, you are given an agreement. So all this paperwork needs to be organized in a way that when something happens, you can get access to this document. And you can also talk about your net worth. You have to analyze your net worth. You can talk about cash flow. You can talk about
the net worth. What is it?
It's your actual financial position. So when we take your assets, the things you own in life, and we take your financial obligations, that's your liabilities, the difference is your net worth, your actual financial position. And then we can talk about cash flow, your income and your expenses. We can talk about knowing about your employment benefit. What are the benefits your employer gives you? You need to be aware of it. You can talk about planning for retirement, planning for major expenditures. Before you buy a car, there should be some forward thinking before you even purchase that car. You can talk about taxes, insurance, investment, estate and gift planning. So these are the elements that comes together to form financial literacy. We are working with educational institutions to start inculcating some of these principles into the academic syllabus. And in the foreign world, financial literacy is on the rise and it is now coming to our world. So we want to encourage everyone to get involved so that we can teach these principles to every single Ghanaian.
Our Upper East Regional Correspondent Swala Abdul Wahab joins us on phone with some updates on the Kupon River that has been poisoned. Good afternoon, Swala.
Good afternoon.
Swala, we understand some suspects have been arrested. What more can you tell us?
That is correct. As at the time I filed the story on the poisoning of the river, no single suspect was arrested. But I just spoke with the regional police PRO of the Ghana Police Service, Chief Inspector Gideon Ehini Barton, and he told me that 8 people have been arrested so far at a village known as Dong. Dong is close to the Belly Resource Reserve. The Belly Resource Reserve is located in 4 districts of the Upper West region. Part of it is in Sisala East Municipality, Sisala West District, the Wa East District, and the Fiama Busi District. So these people, I'm told, have been transferred to Tumu after they were arrested at Dong. And according to the PRO, 2 of these 8 people were caught preparing fish suspected to be part of the catch from the Bele River. And 2 are also said to have escaped arrest. So the police says they will continue to screen these people and find out the real culprits of this incident. So that is the latest regarding the incident that happened at the Bele Reserve.
Thank you very much, Swala. That was Upper West Regional Correspondent Swala, bringing us updates on the poisoning of the Kopon River in the Upper West region. You're watching News Live on GBC News, your news and governance channel, also live on GTV and streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, also in this package, with the easing of restrictions post-COVID-19, health experts still caution that it is important to adhere to the safety protocols and general health, especially oral health. And orthodontist Dr. Novishi Akutu is drawing attention to tooth decay. She says it is necessary to regularly check in with the dentist and brush our teeth at least twice a day to prevent tooth decay. Dr. Akutu says this must be a habit to avoid oral cancer. Now, moving on, residents of Daboya, an Asian town in the Savannah region, are appealing to the government to speed up road construction works in their community. The people say since good roads are a prerequisite for development, their town has barely enjoyed any facelift over the years due to the bad road network. They list their businesses, access to healthcare, and many other areas as being negatively affected. We bring you a report by Beatrice Saniju.
It is an hour's drive from Busunu to Daboya, a difficult journey into the community. Our excitement was short-lived as we were met with a dusty, bumpy road. Our unstable footage paints a vivid picture of that effect. It was difficult to see an oncoming vehicle whenever drivers came at top speed from the opposite direction. One has to slow down to avoid accidents on that stretch of road. Due to this, getting a vehicle to connect to nearby communities is difficult. According to residents, Daboya has existed for over 4 centuries and deserves to have better roads by now.
No access road to sell your farm produce, so we don't have roads, and you can't link your goods to the nearby market just because if you take the other route, the river is blocking, no bridge. If you take the Bunsunu one, the road is not good. If you call a lorry to come and pick your goods, they'll say the road is not good for it to come. If it comes, it will spoil on the way.
The people of Daboya say Busunu Daboya Road was awarded to a local contractor in 2000, but work has still not begun since then.
Sometimes when a car comes here, even to 10 here, it's a problem. That will be 2 months ago. We are even lucky here. So some very big accidents wanted to cause here because of the road. So it's affecting us. This is our business. Everything is our community.
security, the road is not tarred. A lot of dust and other things affects our health system.
Daboya is blessed with many natural resources, and residents believe a good road network will open up their town to investors, which will in turn create jobs for them.
If you mention that we say we have heard they have given our road, Busunu Daboya Road, 52-kilometer road on contract, it is spoiling our people's lorries. It is preventing our women from going to market. They go, lorry will shake and fall. Then the waist is paining. She cannot go. It will drop their corn, the bags. They drop and burst. And so we are losing a lot.
But not even a kilometer stretch of road has been constructed in the town.
I don't want to be quoted wrongly, but I think the whole country, we are the only district that has no, which is very worrying. It's a worrying situation. So last year, somewhere 2020, 5.8 kilometers were awarded for the township, which we think that the pace at which the contractor is working is still very slow, very, very slow. If a project is awarded to you in 2020, you report to site early 2021. For me, up to now, 5.8 kilometers should not still be modern culverts.
The plea from Daboya to the government is to place high priority on their area and deliver on its promise to fix their roads. They say life must surely be made easier within the enclave. Beatrice Sanaju, GBC News, Daboya.
Still watching News live on GBC News and on GTV. We take a quick break. Please don't go away.
There are strong women whose stories teach us perseverance, logic, decisiveness, and self-confidence. Being strong is not just about physical abilities, but also emotional, intellectual, and mental strength. Women's Voice is a platform to hear and share stories to encourage women and girls. Women are the real architects of society. It is they who provide the foundation of power, grace, wisdom, justice, creativity, and hope. Join us live every Monday at 4 p.m. on GBC News and GTV, Wednesdays live at 4 p.m. on GBC News and a repeat on Saturdays at 4 p.m. on GBC News and Sundays at 3 p.m. also on GBC News. Women's Voice. No one can make you inferior without your consent.
It's in-depth.
It is compelling.
And it's robust.
Fair, factual.
Non-partisan, objective, and opinionated. We bring your thoughts alive and get you interactive by creating the platform and bringing the best in the field and getting you, our viewer, glued to your seats. With our unique styles and insights beyond what is reported. We are the Reporters Roundtable and we stand out.
Time now for the business segment. Good afternoon and welcome. I am Dorothy Ajimai. The World Bank has lowered its annual global growth forecast for 2022 by almost 1 percentage point from 4.1% to 3.2%. The economic impact of Russia's invasion of Ukraine is cited as a reason. President of the World Bank, Mr. David Malpass, says the largest single factor in the reduced growth forecast is a projected economic contraction of 4.1% across Europe and Central Asia. Other factors behind the slowdown in growth from January's forecast include higher food and fuel costs being borne by consumers in developed economies, Supply disruptions to Ukraine's agricultural exports are also cited as factors driving prices higher. These are partly the result of Western sanctions on Russian energy, which have driven up the price of oil and gas worldwide. Russia has also blocked Ukraine's major Black Sea ports, making it extremely dangerous for shipping vessels carrying grain and other products to travel the key maritime pathway connecting Ukraine to the rest of the world. Mr. Malpass indicated that the World Bank is preparing for a continued crisis response, given the multiple crises. Over the next few weeks, a discussion on a new 15-month crisis response envelope of about $170 billion to cover a period from April 2022 to June 2023 will be done.
The war in Ukraine and the COVID-19 lockdowns in China are further reducing the recovery path. Of concern, the repercussions are worsening the inequality as the war affects commodity and financial markets, trade and migration linkages, and investor and consumer confidence.
In an earlier recorded phone interview on the World Bank's reduced growth forecast, we spoke to an economist, Mr. Emmanuel Dakwa, who said the world underestimated the impact of the Russia-Ukraine war from the onset, a situation he said has led to many economies struggling. According to him, the time is apt for a purposeful dialogue between Ukraine, Russia and the West to bring an end to the war or risk further growth reductions.
In economic predictions, you make predictions based on certain assumptions, and if those assumptions are not in place, then you have to revise. And this is not the first time the World Bank or any other institution is revising growth target, because growth targets are ordinarily made based on certain assumptions. Growth projection of 3.2% from 4.1% is not too wide because of the magnitude of the impact of the Ukrainian-Russia war on global economies. I must say that the world really underestimated the impact of the Ukrainian-Russian war. And now the world is feeling the impact of it, including African countries and Ghana. Inflation is at a record high in most countries and in most continents, in America, in Asia, in Africa. Ghana, for instance, inflation has hit about 19.4%, highest in about 5 years. So, and this is coming at the back of higher energy prices that are soaring, and also food prices that are soaring. It has affected all economies of the world, and I think it's about time that the world concerted effort to resolve the war so that the impact of it, especially the economic impact of it globally, will be minimized.
Let's have the cedi's performance and some commodity prices.